Is Donald Trump manipulating the stock market? Or is this simply how he's always played the game? To answer that, we need to go back all the way to 2018. In fact, before 2018. Welcome to Think Tank, Breaking News Decoded. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Welcome to 2017. This was way before the coronavirus pandemic hit the world and before Donald Trump took office for the first time. Back then, United States had relatively low average tariffs. Most countries trading with the US enjoyed most favored nation status. The average tariff rate before 2018, around 1.6%. It was a globalized trade system built on decades of WTO negotiations, free trade deals, and multilateral trust. Guess who spearheaded this globalized trade system? It was the United States, European Union, and Japan. They heavily influenced WTO rules, promoted market access, and drove global tariff reductions. Who was at the helm right before Trump took office? President Obama. President Obama was a strong supporter of multilateral trade deals and led the US into negotiating the TPP. His administration emphasized rules-based trade, dispute resolution via WTO, and engagement with allies to counterbalance China's rise. The global trade system that Donald Trump disrupted in 2018 was built through decades of negotiations, mainly led by Western democracies, United States and EU, in partnership with developing nations under the umbrella of WTO, GATT, and various trade blocs. But then came January 2018. President Trump announced sweeping tariffs on solar panels and washing machines, the first shot in what would become a global trade war. On March 1st, 2018, Trump invokes Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act, imposing 25% tariffs on steel and 10% tariffs on aluminium from nearly every country. On May 31st, 2018, Canada, Mexico, and the European Union lose their exemptions. Tariffs take full effect. The retaliation is swift. Canada imposes tariffs on US steel, aluminum, and over 250 American products, from whiskey to ketchup. The EU slaps tariffs on 3.2 billion of American goods, including motorcycles and orange juice. China, it hits back with tariffs on over 100 US products, from soybeans to cars. By July 6, 2018, the trade war with China officially erupts. Trump imposes 25% tariffs on 34 billion worth of Chinese imports. China matches it dollar for dollar. In August 2018, Trump hits another 16 billion of Chinese goods. Then another 200 billion in September of 2018, starting at 10%, set to rise to 25%. By the end of 2018, the world is in a full-blown tariff war. Markets are rattled. Global supply chains are under stress, but it doesn't stop. On May 10, 2019, Trump increases tariffs from 10% to 25% on 200 billion in Chinese goods. He threatens tariffs on another 300 billion. China retaliates again. The yuan drops. Markets swing wildly. It becomes a pattern. Trump announces tariffs. Markets fall. Then he hints at negotiations. Markets recover. The trade war continues into 2020. Then the pandemic shifts focus. We all remember the coronavirus that hit in 2020. Markets crash but recover quickly thanks to stimulus. Trump loses the 2020 election, but the tariff legacy remains. Most tariffs on China and other nations stay in place under Biden. Fast forward to 2025. Trump is back in power. He's become the President of the United States for the second term, and the playbook, it's turbocharged. On January 2025, on day 1 of January 2025, he announces a universal 10% tariff on all countries exporting goods to the US. It shocks the global economy. Stocks fall, Economists warn of inflation and trade disruption. Then comes April 2nd, 2025, Liberation Day, as Donald Trump calls it. He declares a reciprocal tax policy. If they tax us, we'll tax them, says Donald Trump. But here's the twist. He claims every country has always taxed US products unfairly, ignoring the fact that many of those tariffs were retaliatory and a direct consequence of him putting tariffs on other countries when he came to power in 2018. Yes, this all started in 2018. Back in 2018 and 2019, it was Trump's tariffs that triggered the retaliation from China, Canada, the European Union, and others. Now, in 2025, he's reframing the story as if America has always been the victim. And just when the markets were reeling from this aggressive stance from Donald Trump, on April 7, 2025, Trump pauses tariffs for 75 countries for 90 days. Why? Because they didn't retaliate, he says. China retaliated, so he didn't change the tariffs on China. The markets rocket upwards. In less than 2 weeks, the Dow crashes and recovers. Volatility surges, and one man is at the center of it all, Donald Trump. This just isn't coincidence, it's control. The Trump strategy has always been disruption. Shake the system, take credit for the rebound. Tweak, threaten, watch the reaction, pull back, reap the applause. But is it policy or market manipulation? If this was a CEO making public statements to influence stock prices, they'd be investigated by the SEC. But for a president of the United States, there's no rulebook, just influence. So what do you think? Has Trump mastered the art of economic chaos? Or is he just using tariffs and fear to steer markets and win power? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. This is Think Tank, where we unpack power, policy, and the price of influence. Subscribe for more deep dives into how the world really works. Until next time, follow the news, follow the money. Have a great day.